Good morning.
Hey, what up? Look at the
Hey.
lighting.
Oh, I know. It's what shirt are you wearing right now? Is that a pink South Florida? Yes. Where did you get that?
I don't even know.
You just
Somewhere.
oh, you're such a liar.
I don't know. I don't know.
You got it from somebody and you're not telling me.
No, I really don't know where I got it.
USF coaches?
Probably. It's probably
What's his name?
Mo, maybe.
What
That
is he texting right
is
now?
the Zoom
Yes.
number.
I mean, come on, Rob. Is this is a phone number? Did we not say Zoom? I mean, and you're here. What? Listen, you're not my CEO.
You're an idiot.
No, he's going to see it post production anyways. So there's nothing he can do, Rob. We're just waiting on Rob Patterson this morning. Good morning, everybody.
Look at
We are
these
waiting.
Guardian caps.
Wait, well, I thought you wanted to do like this.
No cap.
You want to do a formal like introduction. Welcome. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to um,
Good morning.
the next episode of the Cultivated Culture. This morning, we have himself, um, the father of Dean Patterson, who was a one of our guests a couple of weeks ago. Um, his father, Rob Patterson, who also coaches at Steinbrenner High School with us. He coaches quarterbacks and he helps run. Oh, there he is. There he is. We were just waiting for him. He's been texting us that he can't understand English. So yeah, here we go. What?
Sorry, Ren. Sorry, Ren.
Rob, you're going to see this post production. It's all good, my friend. I'm letting you in right now. And connected to the audio. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good.
Good
Well,
morning. Good morning.
well, welcome to the show. And like I was saying earlier, guys, welcome to the next episode of the Cultivator Culture. Um, we have the pleasure and the honor to have the parents of Dean Patterson, who was a guest on our show a couple of weeks ago with Aiden Bitter. But Rob also is a coach with us at Steinbrenner High School. He coaches quarterbacks, and we all kind of run the offense. They were very, very gracious to spend their time with us this morning. Are you all good? You guys figure out how to use Zoom? Works
Yeah,
okay.
that's
did
that's
you
not
figure out
that's
did
not
you figure
the
out how to
normal way.
introduce your guests?
Oh, and welcome to Miss Krys Patterson, the backbone of the Patterson family. Thank you guys for joining us. We do appreciate it. Listen, are you guys in the same universe? Because it's all blurry behind both of you guys. You
Yeah,
guys
they
are.
want you to see their house.
Oh, can I do that too? Can I blur mine?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's how you use Zoom.
Uh-oh. Hello. What happened? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Uh-oh, what happened? Oh, no,
I
I'm back.
I apologize to both of you.
I completely froze early. Well, we wanted to bring you on this morning because we there's we're very, very proud of Dean. We very certainly are. But just this past Monday, there was an award ceremony called the Bill Minahan Award, which is not only performance on the field, but off the field for the best. It's like the Walter Payton Award for the NFL, but it's for Hillsborough County flag football for girls and football for boys. And typically we have one or two kids. This year we had three, including Rob and Krys's daughter, Kyra Patterson, Will Miller, and who was the other
Ber-
one?
Berkeley Demeter.
Berkeley Demeter. And what ended up happening was Berkeley and Will ended up winning, making it the first clean sweep for Steinbrenner. But the process of getting to the finalist table, there's quite a bit of a process. Can you please explain to us, Coach Puskis, what is required to actually just be nominated for it?
Yeah, so what happens is there is a nomination process that is long and tedious, and there's a voting committee. So Bill Moynihan was a former head coach in this county who was the first coach in Hillsborough County to have African American players on his team. He was seen as a massive leader in the community in changing and social justice, and he his wife in his name after he passed has put together an award, and the award is given away with a beautiful ceremony on Martin Luther King Day, and it represents and honors the best leaders in the county and the community off the field, but they also have to be wonderful athletes on the field. So very cool that we had 3 of the 7 finalists this year, and 3 wonderful people, in my opinion. I wish there could have been 3 winners, but they're in that room. If you went, all 7 of those finalists were phenomenal, just human beings. So,
Well, and Steinbrenner, with Steinbrenner, Will won it on the boys' side, and what Brooklyn won it on the Brooklyn, Berkeley, or whatever, same. Berkeley won it on the girls' side, but it must have been a huge honor. And we've had a couple other of our kids be nominated on the football side and some on the flag football side, but a huge honor for them just to be nominated and to be at the Columbia for the big presentation. Now, Kyra was one of the finalists. How did you guys, and what did you guys think, Rob and Krys, about the whole ceremony, and what did you think? How'd you go with Kyra? Did she think that she was up for it, or did she, just like everyone else, as humble as all the kids were, like, well, you know what, I'm just proud to have been nominated?
You answer. So that was quite a word salad there, Austin. But I would say she was really honored that she was up for nomination, that she had the opportunity to be there. And again, Kyra's extremely humble. So it's just more of her just being honored to be there and just have the opportunity.
Nice. Now, speaking of Kyra, she's a senior now, and she is off to college. Can you tell us a little bit about what and where she's going and what she'll be doing?
Well, I mean, she's been fortunate enough to already sign early a track scholarship to Florida International University, where she will be joining her brother, in August. And so we're very proud of that, and very happy for her and what the future looks like for her. And, and she still has her track season ahead of her,
Nice.
which starts, about a month from now. And so she's been working out since November and getting excited for her final season at George Steinbrenner High School.
Nice. Now tell us, I don't think I ever really knew. I know she has
Austin,
a bunch of events. Can you hear me?
I think he's frozen.
Did I freeze? Oh, it says my internet connection is unstable. Can you hear me? Am I back? We're going to do all this again, aren't we?
It's better now.
Is that better?
Yeah, better.
Okay. I don't know. Listen, if I had to pick between Spectrum and Verizon, I would pick neither because they both stink. But anyways, I know that Kyra does. She's an awesome athlete. I know Coach Greg has the opportunity to coach her too in flag. Is she playing flag this year?
She is.
Okay. I never did ask because as good and great of an athlete as she is, because she played soccer at Steinbrenner too. What are her events in track and field? What is she going to go over to FIU and do over there for them?
Well, I mean, the 2 main events that she probably will participate at FIU are the 200 and the long jump.
Nice.
But in high school, she participates in 100, 200,
Yeah.
triple jump, and long jump, and periodically depends on the actual meet. She will anchor the 4x1.
Wow.
Makes for some long Saturdays.
Yeah, no
On
doubt.
Saturday.
Now, who does she participate in track with outside? Because she's got an AAU season as well too, doesn't she?
Yeah, so she is a member of the VAST, VAST AAU Tri Club.
There you go.
And
Shout
so
out Vest.
yeah, so that's who she has been training with since November.
And are some of her PRs good enough to get her to like regionals or JOs? I don't know how it comes to Junior Olympics, right, and stuff like that.
Well, last year she did make states in the triple jump. So she finished 10th in the state in triple jump. she had started on the long jump very late in the season, actually, probably the last two track meets.
Yeah.
And so she discovered that she was pretty decent at it. So
She did make Junior Olympics, though. She did qualify.
She made Junior Olympics in the summer and did very well in AAU track as well. So we're excited for and looking forward to her continuing to improve her marks.
Well, tell her what's her favorite. What's her favorite event?
The 200. Her run event is the 200, and of course, field events is the long jump now. So
nice.
She does have a mark to break the school record this year in the long jump, and so we're looking forward to her setting that record this year.
And what is her PR? And currently, what is the school record?
In the long jump, the school record is 5.26, and her PR is a 5.52.
Yeah, and then she jumped further than that in AAU, didn't she? Did she beat that? I thought she might have beat it in AAU.
Oh, so she's going to break it.
I think she told me she can get it.
she's going to break it. Now, Coach Puskis, what do you think about your flag season? I know you said you've got some like a Team USA girl already over there, and another one prospectively. How is it having an athlete like Kyra, who's a multi-sport athlete? What are your thoughts? Because I coached with you before. What are your thoughts of having multi-sport athletes that you got to split time with flag football, especially because your team is getting very, very good at this stage?
I think it's awesome. For me, high school sports is an opportunity for these young athletes to try a bunch of different things, have a bunch of fun while they're still kids. We all know once you get to college, everyone on this chat right now is a college athlete, and it is all business once you get to college. The fun, it's not that the fun is out of it, but it changes quite a bit the way you have fun. So I think I love splitting time and seeing the athletes do a bunch of different things that they're interested in. That's why I practice in the morning, so they can still run track, they can still play softball, they can still do different things that they want to do, and they don't have to feel like their time is crunched and they have to make decisions. So, like if Berkeley, for example, we were just talking about earlier, she is a Division I prospect softball player, and if we have a game that overlaps on the same day and she wants to go to softball, there's no hard feelings. Like we just have to have that communication in line. But I like to make sure that they get every opportunity that they want to have as kids to kind of enjoy and make their path the way they see it.
Yeah. When we were growing up, like I said, we're all athletes and ex-athletes. Just like I do, when we played, and you had coaches fighting for your attention, they wore you to the bone. I mean, they played you. You might play a basketball game and then run track the next day, and then might have baseball in that same weekend. As a coach nowadays, with the kind of players and the people we have now, do you manage loads for kids who have multiple sports? Do you you're obviously, juggling their schedules, but when you do have them, like to have an athlete, like athletes like you have, an athlete like Kyra, do you utilize them to the maximum capacity, or do you go, okay, listen, I'm going to give them so many plays, so many drives, and then we're going to rest them because they have something else going on?
So part of it is them communicating and just having a real open discussion, like about them being honest. And athletes not always honest because they want to play every down, but if they have a game or meet the night before, they're going to go later and practice the next day. The big thing is just making sure that we're keeping them in top shape, and like it's not doing us any good if they're worn out by week 3. So
Yeah.
you definitely have to make sure they are giving their best to both sports, and at the same time getting some I guess maintenance and just bringing the car in for checkups from time to time to make sure they're taking care of everything and staying healthy. So
Nice. Rob and Krys, as parents, knowing also that Kyra, when she first got to high school, was a phenomenal soccer player. Um, as parents, how do you manage your athlete between school and then soccer and then track and then flag
cheerleading.
football and then cheerleading? I mean, the, uh, is there a moment where you're like, babe, this is too much, or do you give them enough leeway to make those decisions for themselves? How much of that process of, and especially because she's an exceptional human being, she has all of these things at her disposal. Where do you guys go to say, and where do you play a part where you say, let's make some hard decisions here, and kind of taper it so that you do have time to rest, and you do have time to actually study?
That's actually a very, very common discussion in our household. Just telling her, just take a moment, breathe. Again, especially when you're dealing with these athletes, she wants to do everything. And, without understanding that, it's not worth it on your body. There's strain on your body. And if this is a schedule that you're giving yourself, then it's more important for you to take care of yourself. Make sure you're hydrated, make sure you're stretching, stay limber, because again, your body, you only have one body. And at some point, if you're not taking care of it, it won't take care of you. So it is definitely an ongoing discussion with her. But again, just because, she wants to be involved in everything. And, as a parent, I think it's our job to be that extra voice, like on their shoulder, just to remind them, because, they're kids, and kids are going to do kids things. But I think it's just, again, important to make sure that we're having those ongoing discussions and having that communication to make sure that she's not putting herself in a situation that's going to be detrimental to her in the long run.
Yeah. Listen, speaking about kids being kids, Rob, the three of us coach football together. And let's be honest, and our school's not that bad, but there's knuckleheads. And in high school, there are a lot of knuckleheads. You guys have been very blessed and fortunate to have one football player with Dean and Kyra to have gone through, and they've been phenomenal people. I don't think either of them have ever gotten into any sort of academic trouble. I don't think either of them have gotten into any sort of off the field problems. As parents, I know when I was growing up, they made us do all these sports and they made us do all these activities, and it basically signed us over to the school so that we would stay out of the streets in our neighborhood. You guys have done a phenomenal job with Dean and Kyra. How did you do it in today's day and age where social media and the peer pressure is probably worse than when we were kids? How did you guys manage to turn out two phenomenal kids that are great leaders and not having presumably haven't had a single real problem like high school kids do?
I don't think there's a recipe for it. I think the foundation that we set with them early on as kids, set in and actually took off, and allowed us to build upon those foundations throughout the years. And it's hard to navigate those things because, social media and of course, what other parents allow their kids to do. And, there are plenty of times where they asked us to, you know, can I attend this party or can I do this? And I can't, and we said no. I mean, it was to a point where growing up, I think there might have been only probably one family who allowed them to spend a night at, just because, you never know what they're exposed to when they're not in your presence. And so as much as we could, we kind of control that. But, we made sure that they had fun as kids and experienced the things that we really wanted them to. And so as they got older, of course, we had to allow them to grow up and give them responsibilities. But in our household, it was a given fact that, they were going to school, they were going to college.
Yeah.
And so, we told them the way to get there, the easier way to help mom and dad out is to earn a scholarship.
Yeah.
And of course, you have those challenges, in getting your kid, exposure and be seen and loved by a college recruiter. But, a lot of those things just started out, early on in their years where we just said, as parents, we're going to try to give them what we didn't have and more. But our kids make us look like all American parents. I mean, they both are phenomenal human beings. And, the other thing that I think they are fortunate is that they do have a support system outside of us.
Yeah.
We have family and friends and that, helped us along the way in helping raise them. And so a lot of kids don't grow up with grandparents.
Yeah.
And they both have been fortunate to have grandparents who supports them and other family members who support them. So, it took a village. But, early on, we just wanted to set those foundations for them both being first great human beings, caring, loving people.
Yeah.
And then it went from there.
Well, listen, you guys are absolutely all American parents. And you're right. It does take a village to raise a child. Now, Rob, because you've been with us for how many years at Steinbrenner now?
Finished 8 years, going on 9 right now.
Yep. There's, that the influence that we play on the field is superseded by our influence off the field with a bunch of our kids. And even when they graduate, we find that they come back and they talk to us and they confide in us and they consult with us. That just comes with the job of being a coach. Krys, you don't coach, but you got probably a lot of other, with as much as Kyra does, how many of her friends, because of your guys' family structure, because of your awesome family dynamic, how many of the kids that, like you said, don't have the grandparents or don't have the support system, how many of those kids or Kyra's friends, and even Dean's friends come back and lean on you guys when it comes to advice and support?
I think it's kind of, I would say there's actually quite a group, but it's also, the group kind of keeps growing. I would say to Dean's extent, I mean, some of the friendships he's forged in college, like they've almost become extended family to us, like their families, the constant communication. I believe that, God puts us in a path around the right people at the right times when we need them. And I think both kids have been very blessed that they've had the right people around them when they needed them. And I think that, that's helped them along their path. Kyra has an amazing friend group that is just a real core group of just good kids. And I mean, we couldn't be more thankful for that, because as we know, influences are influences, and that definitely becomes a challenge when you have another voice in your kid's head that's not yours. But I would say to that extent, the group just continues to grow, just because, again, as the kids evolve, as they grow up, they're around different people, and those people, we've been blessed to have them as a part of our extended family and friend group.
Nice. Now, how many, with all these activities and all these friends and all these responsibilities that you guys have with just the two of your phenomenal kids, how do you guys keep it together, and what do you guys do as a couple to make sure after all of this stuff? Because I know Rob is, a CEO, my boss, my CEO at of a nonprofit organization. And Krys, you are super busy with work, but you guys have got all this stuff happening. How do you guys manage to keep the ship right? How do you guys manage to stay connected when? And I know also, sorry, Rob is also in school. I mean, he's. How do you manage to keep it all together and then juggle the kids and juggle the work schedules and so on and so forth?
Well, if you're asking how we manage to keep it together, we have this very fun and color coordinated family calendar.
Well, I mean,
that
for
is
you
on
guys,
everybody's phone.
you guys as a couple. I mean,
As
I
a
know
family.
you guys are phenomenal at managing the kids and the support systems and your works. How do you guys as a couple stay connected after all these things and all these directions you get pulled into?
She just told you.
Oh, you guys use the same calendar.
Yeah, we all have the same calendar. It's on
Yeah.
everybody's phone.
Nice. How about
It's a calendar that has everyone's schedule.
Activity,
I mean,
and then what we
work
do.
schedule. It has everything on there so that it's a main point of communication.
nice?
So
Is it
that
like
we can
Google
actually-
Google Calendar or something?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
yeah. So it's a main point of communication, so we know where each other is.
Mhm.
What we have going on, whether it's work or personal. The kids' activities, as far as Kyra's track schedule,
Yep.
her flag football schedule, Dean's schedule.
Mhm.
I mean,
Well-
everything's on there. So
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, do you guys have to pencil each other in, or is there like an unwritten law or an unwritten rule of date night is X night? You know what I'm saying?
Well, now that we're out of football season, we're gonna get back to date night. But I mean, we try to take trips. We typically take at least 2 trips a year. We do one trip right before football season,
Yep.
just to kind of get the two of us just to get away, and then we do a trip for our anniversary at the end of the year. But now that we'll be quasi empty nesters
Hmm.
after, I guess, July,
Yeah.
my expectation is going to change a little bit. But again, I think when it comes down to communication, again, just having the calendar really keeps us organized. And it also lets us know I hate to say it this way, but our capacity.
Yeah.
Because if we want to go to dinner, it's like, okay, now we know exactly what's going on. So I can say, hey, let's go grab dinner Saturday night together without, dealing with I have this or this going on. And it makes it so much easier.
Nice. And by the way, Rob, how is school going right now? How far along are you? For those who don't know, Rob is gone back to school at 50 years old. We talked about it an episode or
Don't
two
age
ago.
him. Don't age him.
No, at 35.
Yeah.
32.
Yeah, he's gone back to get his PhD. Tell us a little bit about that, Rob. How's it like going back to school?
It's rough. So the goal is to finish at the end of this year in December, and so I've begun to start to put my dissertation together. So really, after this podcast, I need to get to work. But no, it's put some more on my plate that first I didn't realize how much, but as I started, I said, hey, look, I'm not going to stop, because if I stop, then it'd be a long time before I finish, or I never will finish. So, so I'm going to push through this year and get this thing done and graduate with my doctorate degree in December.
Well, listen,
That's awesome.
we're super proud of you, and from the sounds of it, you have a support system around you that won't take the tests and do the dissertation for you, but we'll at least give you as much support as we can to get you through. Now, talk to us a little. We're going to shift some gears here. Talk to us a little bit about coaching at Steinbrenner. Coach Ant Steinbrenner with Coach Perez, who, by the way, he's just joined. Coach Perez, love you. Yeah, he's our 25th subscriber. But
I thought
give
you meant
us
he just joined. I'm like, there's no way he's up this early.
no,
We
no,
all
no, no,
know
no.
that.
He's no. He just told us at the Minahan Award ceremony. He goes, you guys are lucky. Your podcast is going to go somewhere because I just subscribed." So I'm like,
So before they answer the question,
"Yep."
I got to ask you a question. How did you feel walking into the award ceremony late
Oh,
and
Oh,
her just staring at you, and
And
they're
calling
like,
him out.
"Oh, we still got some people coming in."
oh my
Yeah.
gosh! Listen, for one, I was earlier than I normally am. I was only 5 minutes late. I'm usually on island time like 15 or 20. But the problem is, I literally, when I tried to open the door, that it's 100-year-old door. So I'm just, what the hell? And then as soon as it went open, the damn thing went, "Er," and just
Yeah.
in time to when she's talking, I'm like, oh, because nobody saw. What was the guy from Plant? The kid from Plant? What's his name? Kurt.
Not
The
Curtis Fitch.
not Curtis Fitch. Anyways, he was right behind me. Him and his girlfriend. Nobody saw it because when I pulled the door open and poked my head in, the door screeched so loud. She looked right at me. They scooted in right behind me. Nobody saw them come in later than me. I was like, "Damn it!" And I was straight. I didn't realize she was right in front of me. So yeah, that was that was fun. Good entry. Anyways, yeah, give us your thought. Going into 8 now, going 9. Rob, I personally, I was so glad when Dean graduated that unlike most fathers, they dip out on us. I was actually very very happy to hear that you were back, and that you stayed with us. Give us your impression of the last 9 years coaching with the staff, and especially with Coach Greg and I.
well, coaching with you two is just phenomenal. I'm really being facetious, but
Nice.
no, it's been great. The experience has been it's been awesome, and it's different now, of course, that he's not there, right? So when I first joined the staff there, I joined as the head JV coach, and of course, it was his first year, and so to see him, grow, through his years at Steinbrenner, firsthand, right? Not just watching games, has been great for me and great for, his experience with his father being on the coaching staff.
Yep.
And so, I didn't join as staff to just watch my kid play.
Yep.
I enjoy coaching football. So total in years, I just finished 21 years in coaching football, from little league to high school. And so, and of course that bleeds over to my work, to see young kids, get this, get the support and guidance to be great human beings first. And if you have the opportunity to advance your skills in football to another level, then great for you. Not all of our kids do that, but to see, now kids coming back to Steinbrenner after coaching them, and they have families and good jobs and being, productive citizens. To me, that's what it's all about. And if you can give them a positive experience through football, I'm just a small part of that piece. But very proud to see what we've done there. Since its inception.
Yeah.
Many people in the county don't really know how successful we've been. And it's not just because of wins and losses. It really has been because of how many kids we have put through that program, and they come out very successful on the other side, whether they go to college or they enter into the workforce and now have careers.
Yeah.
To me, that's what it's all about.
Oh yeah. Well, listen, give us a little bit of insight. I mean, that's very insightful already, but a lot of people don't know your background outside, because unlike Coach Greg, you and I are not teachers. so there's a ton of respect for
Lucky.
you, especially because now your son has graduated. That a lot of our students, our players, and our community, our high school community, don't realize um, what you do outside that ties almost directly to what we're doing at Steinbrenner when it comes to building the culture of the program. Tell us a little bit about your work and what you do. Give them a shout out.
Yeah, I mean, I am the president and CEO of BAYS. BAYS stands for Bay Area Youth Services Incorporated. We've been around now, this April will be 42 years of providing
Awesome.
diversion and prevention services to kids and families throughout the state of Florida. We've been blessed to be in position to grow tremendously in the past 10 years, where we are providing those services throughout the entire state. We are looking to grow outside of the state now, in some of the neighboring states. And so, the purpose of our organization is to collaborate with families, community partners to bring resources to kids and families that typically won't know that they're available to them.
Yep.
In all kind of aspects, from education to mental health therapy, substance abuse therapy, to better their lives. And so this year, I always tell people, hey, this year in July, it'll be 30 years I've been doing this work.
Wow.
And my parents made me start when I was 12. So do the math, and I'm around 42 now. So, but yeah, I'm really excited about the work that BAYS has done. Really excited about our future.
Nice.
We like I said, we I believe have a great product that we can put in systems and processes for the Department of Juvenile Justice, Department of Children and Families, and some of the other managing entities in the state. And so we have great partners. We don't do this alone.
Yeah.
And so we're very excited about the opportunities that we have to help better kids and families' lives.
Nice. Well, listen, big shout out to BAYS. Also big shout out to the Pattersons. We're wrapping up now. We only got, it says we got only a couple minutes left, and I got to go out and work out. You've got to go back to school. Any last words for the Pattersons, Coach Greg?
I would like, I don't know if you have like 5 minutes to reset, but I would love the perspective of the parents of a recruit going through the process. Because we have recruiting season in full swing right now. Our timer's running down. Do you have a way to reset that?
I can cut it, but then it'll record, and then I can come back, and then I could try to splice them both together. You want to do that?
I do, because I think it would be awesome to have an inside perspective. If you guys have a few extra minutes.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay. Let me cut it, and then I will let it restart, and then we'll jump back on. Okay.
All right, cool.
All right. See you in just a minute. Bye.
Difference between girls and guys.
They're not coming back. But you know what's coming back? Ah!
Yeah. Yes, they are coming
They're
back.
there. Oh, they're there.
I wouldn't come back.
I wouldn't either. With us. Ugh.
You're so
Hey.
wordy.
And we're back. Welcome back. All right, Coach Greg. Let's go.
My daughter just gave me a koala bear bracelet. How cute is that? So before we get going, there's the big thing I wanted to talk to you guys about. Obviously, we understand the football side of things in terms of recruiting. Was the process, and I'd love to hear from both of you. First, Rob, is the process different between what we go through with the football players and what the girls face on the track side?
Absolutely. It's totally different. With football, there's, you have film, and that's pretty much how you try to get your kids, recruited and some exposure. And then, of course, when they can get in front of a coach, they look at their size and look at their frame, and see if they can put weight on them, and all that good stuff, right? See if they can talk, those kinds of things. But for girls track, there's numbers. If you don't hit those numbers, they don't want to talk to you. Now,
Wow.
if you're close, they will continue the relationship and communication, but not until you actually hit numbers that they set for their program that they'll be interested in even offering your PWO. Now, I can tell you with Kyra, she was pretty close her junior year to a lot of the D1 stuff. And when I say D1 numbers, meaning SEC, ACC, and they all pretty much, a majority of them that she was interested in offered her PWO. But of course, out of state tuition is pretty, high. So, so we worked on, staying here in Florida, if possible. But yeah, the recruiting is totally different, because in women's track.
Well, in track, period.
Well, yeah, but in women's track, there's only 18 full scholarships. And a lot of women track clubs, or track teams, I should say, at the D1 level have about 40 girls on it. Oh, wow. And so, so you have to split up the money, and those coaches, do a phenomenal job in splitting up the money and trying to figure out how do they spread it out to keep their program going. So keep it competitive. And so, and of course, you guys know in D1 football, it's 85, unless you're on probation. So, but it's a lot more money to spread around in college football than it is in college women's track.
And then on the other side of things, Ms. Krys, you went through the process with Dean.
Yes.
And Dean, phenomenal athlete, phenomenal student coming out of high school. And the process going into recruiting, every single high school football player, whether they're all-state or third string, they all think they're going to be a Division I football player. We knew Dean had the potential to do that. The question is, as a parent, how hard is it to see your kid go through that process? And do you have any advice for parents on the process, how to handle it, and what to expect, that sort of stuff?
I would definitely say the first part is patience. It's so important to just be patient with the process. We learned pretty early on when we were going through the process with Dean, is we stopped talking about who was talking to him. I always say, and again, we've been married for 25 years, so I have not experienced the dating scene, but everything it tells me about, like, the apps, the dating apps, where it's like you swipe right, you swipe left, you get ghosted. I mean, you go through all of those, like, processes through. I mean, colleges that are hot and heavy on them this week are different than the next week. And it's hard enough going through it with the college coaches, but then I talked earlier about those outside voices. So then you have the people on the outside who are like, you deserve to be D1. Like, you deserve to go to these big schools. Like, I don't understand. People who don't coach at big schools really have their bar is pretty low. They have no idea what they're talking about. So then that's the other voice. And then the third element then becomes social media. So now you have social media where all these kids are getting these great offers, and you have a kid who's looking like, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. So why aren't they looking at me the same way? I mean, I know we got to a point in Dean's recruiting where we took his home. Yeah. We're like, you just need to shut down. You need to shut down all the outside influences, because it was driving him crazy. And as a result, it was driving us crazy. And, as parents, you want to encourage them to do the right thing, keep in contact with the coaches, be respectful. Like, just understand if they're not reaching out to you, reach out to them. Like, we're taking them through, like, these steps just to, again, but, behind closed doors, we're both like at each other, like, why are they not doing the right thing? But it's a part of the process. It's extremely nerve-wracking, extremely tiresome. But I mean, at the end of the day, I guess it just kind of gets us ready for the next level, because once you go to college and start playing sports, you're on a different level now. So it's just different kinds of problems. So, it's Absolutely. Definitely very nerve-wracking.
Well, listen, I'm going to correct Coach Greg here for a minute, because, in fact, last week when we talked to Dion, is actually Dean was the first first of our athletes to traverse through the
Traverse.
Yes.
yeah, traverse. Anyways, he's the first one to traverse through the transfer portal because he was at the University of Findlay and then ended up at FIU. Take us through the process for you guys as parents going through the transfer portal.
Lots of prayer. that's what it was. I mean, I would say, it was definitely, we knew that just based on where he was, it was worth it for him to take the chance.
Yep.
It was very nerve-wracking, extremely just nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
But then the transfer portal was very different then than it is now.
Right.
I think NIL's definitely changed the portal.
Yep.
But he was fortunate enough that, he had a few coaches reach out to him, like once he went in the portal, and he landed ultimately at FIU, and we're very happy and fortunate about that.
Well, now Dion said to us last week, same thing as the recruiting process. There was some weeks 4 or 5 coaches are talking to him, and then the next week there's none of that. Did you guys, because that you're right, it was early in the transfer portal days. Did you guys did Dean also go through that? And did you guys go through that with him too, where it felt like they were ghosting you and there was a frustration with some of that process?
Yeah, it happened even before he went to University of Findlay. He had a ton of coaches, at the end there.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, his recruiting was really delayed. And, and some people will say part of it is because it was a COVID year. But, he had a ton of coaches that came late. It was Kansas City. Kansas State, UMass, Louisville, Cincinnati. And all were loving on him. But, it was pretty late in the game. And then when, of course, all the folks that had already offered committed, he was left out. And so, so it's a challenge. And we did like the coaches at University of Findlay. I thought, it was a good program for him to go into, and he went up there and spent that fall up there, and he got hurt. And a lot of people don't know. He was really close to tearing every ligament in his knee. I think he was on crutches for about a month, and then came home and started to rehab actually with you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And to get his knee back right, and so we made the decision, in January to go in the portal. And, he had some schools that reached out to him, and some were legit and some weren't. But, he wanted to come back to Florida at that time. And so FIU reached out and actually offered him a PWO. They said they didn't have any scholarships at the time, but offered him a PWO. And he promised us, within 1 year, he would earn a scholarship. And so, of course, to have your kid back home was a blessing, as well. And so we told him, hey, look, we got you. We're going to support you, and, go do what we believe you can do. And that's ball. And so he was able to earn a scholarship in a year. And so we're very proud of that.
Oh yeah. Listen, I remember those days. Not only remember his knee that we rehabbed at the clinic, but remember he had that Quasimodo finger.
Yes.
Because he
still has it.
He took a football, bro, and it's like the knuckle was like humongous. And he's like, hey coach, can you do anything with this? And I was like, no, that thing is disgusting. But Dean will tell you the exchange that we had in text, and it's off air material. But Dean also spent some time with me at the clinic in the process of not just rehabbing, but I remember getting the text from Rob saying, "Give Dean a job." Period. But yes, sir.
Oh,
yes, sir. And Dean is phenomenal. Both Kyra and Dean spent some time with me at the clinic. And I got a chance to spend additional time with them, and I could see both of you just exuding your personalities, both of them out of you guys. I mean, they are an exact reflection of who you guys are and what you guys are all about. You can't be any more proud of them. Aside from the fact that Dean got big. So I would, as you walk down the hallways, and my hallways are not that wide. I'd always rip swim move. And I remember the day when he came back and he pushed me into the wall and almost knocked down the picture. I said, nope, done. I said, don't do that anymore, Dean. I'm trying to live today. So don't be such a bully. And now I won't even, because now he stands and he's towering over the majority of us, and he's got big man muscles now, grown boy muscles. So I don't even mess with him. But I can imagine when Kyra was at the clinic, I didn't touch her. Because the first time I did a rip move like that, she just shoved me right into the room. She shoved me into one of the rooms. I was like, nope, that's it. I'm finished. That's a total Miss Chris thing. I think she tripped me. I think she tripped me one time too when we were walking by. I didn't do nothing either. She just tripped me. I was like, no, stop. You just like your brother. Y'all bullying me now. So,
well, Coach, this is it's kind of a good transition to kind of finish up the recruiting thing, because we learned a great deal with Dean's recruiting. It was tough, and as parents going through a recruiting process that was in the middle of COVID, taught us a great deal, and even him going through the transfer portal and applying to FIU. And of course, he couldn't get in that spring. So that's, of course, when I asked you to give him a job, and he worked for you and rehab, he rehabbed his knee that spring, and then he went to FIU in the summer. Yeah. With Kyra, I started much earlier with her recruiting, reaching out to coaches, sharing things with them. And I made it a point with the schools that she wanted to attend because of her major and that kind of stuff, to share her marks with them every Sunday. I just sat down and I emailed them and I shared her marks with them every Sunday. And so it was done, much better, I think, on our part with her. And again, it's totally different in track as it is football. So, we were pushing her to understand, hey, look, you got to make these marks. I mean, this is not about them loving you and loving your size or your grades or whatever, right? This is about
numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
Right. And
but I would say too, I think it's a good point just about recruiting, period. I think that, the expectation is always that should follow the coach. And as parents, we typically will take a back seat to that. And I think we all have to own the process, because if we own the process, then we'll appreciate the process. Mm-hmm. I think if you're not owning the process and you're waiting on somebody else to do it, then I think it takes away a certain level of ownership to that extent, for not just for the parents, but for the kids as well. I mean, I know back in the day when I was recruiting, we had to record, we had to record like me playing, I was a softball player. So we had to record me on VHS tapes and mail them out to coaches.
Oh yeah.
Now with social media, it's so much easier because they have access to these coaches on Twitter, on all these social feeds. So there's no reason why these kids should not be following these coaches and reaching out to them. Sending them messages. I think that, again, everybody wants to sit back and they expect for people to come to them. And we know with life, that's not how it works. Right. So, you have to be able to kind of step up and own that process for the kids and for the parents, because ultimately the coaches aren't going there. Yeah. The kids are going to have to go there. So whatever situation, you want to make sure you know the situation and you understand it going in. So I would say that's the big thing, is you got to own that process.
Own the process and appreciate the process. We absolutely appreciate you guys coming back on so we can get this part in, because we did really want to touch on this part, but with Zoom, it has limitations on the free version. So we had to come back. But thank you guys so much. We do appreciate your time. Rob, get back to work at school with your schoolwork and that dissertation. Miss Krys, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. We absolutely appreciate you, Coach Greg. I know you've got a million things on your plate, including, more classes that you got a grade for and stuff. But you know what? Thank you so much. We'll post this baby on Wednesday. But enjoy the rest of your day, you fellas and Miss Krys. And we are out. See ya.
Appreciate y'all.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one.
Bye.